Hello, I'm going to read you a story about a princess and some lovely red jelly, and it's called The Jelly That Wouldn't Wobble by Angela Mitchell. Princess Lolly wriggled impatiently on her throne. It was her 89th birthday party. "Where's my special jelly?" she asked. "Here, your highness," replied the guard, as the cook and his assistant proudly carried in her special jelly. Everyone gasped with delight. It was glorious. Princess Lolly squealed with excitement, prodded the jelly, and then looked puzzled. She prodded the jelly again. "This jelly doesn't wobble!" exclaimed Princess Lolly in horror. The cook prodded the jelly too. "Doesn't wobble? Doesn't wobble?" flustered the cook. "Of course it wobbles, your highness. It's jelly." "I say this jelly doesn't wobble!" screeched the princess hysterically. She prodded the jelly again and again and again. It didn't wobble. "I want my jelly to wobble! Make it wobble! Why won't my jelly wobble?" she stomped, a royal tear rolling down her cheek. Everyone looked at the jelly in wonder. "I don't want to be eaten," growled the jelly. Princess Lolly slumped on her throne. The cook stared in disbelief, and the guard stood to attention, and the hungry guests sat back in silence. "Not be eaten," boomed the princess. "Melt it!" "Your highness, no!" begged the cook. "Think of the mess, your highness," said the guard. Princess Lolly pondered for a moment. 1,001 chocolate sovereigns for anyone who can make this jelly wobble," announced the princess. There was a great stir. "I'll prod it with my walking stick," said the oldest guest. That didn't work. "Rock the table," shouted the twin guests. That didn't work. "Scare it," the royal window cleaner hollered and pulled some horrible faces. That didn't work. The jelly still refused to wobble. "I won't wobble, I won't wobble, and my final word," screamed the jelly. Princess Lolly turned the colour of a very ripe strawberry. The cook turned white with worry. "I know how to make it wobble," said the smallest guest. "You do?" boomed the princess. "You do?" squealed the cook. "You do?" repeated the cook's assistant. "Yes, your highness," said the smallest guest proudly. "Make the jelly really, really, really cold. It will shiver and have to wobble." "Wonderful," said the cook, excited. Go on, I say," Princess Lolly commanded. The cook froze for a moment. Ice cream, whispered the smallest guest to the cook. Of course, gasped the cook. There was a great scurry while a rather wobbly old ladder and the royal ice cream scoop were fetched. Tottering on top of the ladder, the cook placed 3 scoops of tutti frutti ice cream on top of the royal jelly's crown. Everyone held their breath and watched as the jelly tried very hard not to shiver. Suddenly, the jelly jerked as the ice cream began to melt and trickle down its sides. "I saw something move," gasped the smallest guest. "Oh, please, Wobble," begged the cook. Brrr! The jelly suddenly shivered. Brrr! It shivered again. Rocking this way and that, quivering and quaking, trembling and shaking, so violently that everyone thought it would slip off the platter to splatter on the floor. What a spectacle! The guests moved back in fear. The cook began to cry, and Princess Lolly stared in wonder at this quivering, shivering sight as the defeated jelly wobbled and wibbled, wibbled and wobbled, just as a royal jelly should. The hungry guests cheered, the cook sobbed with relief, and the guard stood at ease. "Silence!" cried Princess Lolly. There was an instant hush. "Now we can eat jelly," she proclaimed. "Phew!" sighed the cook, consoled. And they did. And by the way, the princess kept her promise and rewarded the smallest guest with 1,001 chocolate sovereigns. The end. Thank you for listening to my story.